Hey guys, I'm Emily, and welcome to our series about the purposes of the church. We're so glad that you're here joining us this week. In this series, we're learning about why the church exists and what God designed it to do. But before we do that, we're going to start off by singing a song about the Great Commandment and the Great Commission. Let's check it out.
Love the Lord your God with all your heart, soul, and mind. This is the first and greatest commandment. A second is equally important. Love your neighbor as yourself. The entire law is based on these commandments. Of all nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father, Son, and Spirit. Teach these new disciples to obey all the commands that I have made. Be sure of this, I am with you always.
That was a great song. Jesus told us these things to teach us what the church was meant to do. Now it's time to hear a story from the Bible. Our Bible story this week is going to show us an example of what the early church was designed to do. The church was designed to be a place where people can worship, belong, grow, serve, and share. So let's take a look at our Bible story this week and check it out.
stories of the Bible. Paul. This is Saul. Saul was a Pharisee who hated the followers of Jesus so much that he would hunt them down to be brought to trial in Jerusalem. And he would even seek to murder them. Saul was uttering threats with every breath, and he was eager to kill the Lord's followers. So he went to the high priest. He asked him to write a letter to the Jews in Damascus that would allow him to arrest any Christians he found there. He wanted to bring them, both men and women, back to Jerusalem in chains. Now Saul went on his way. And as he came near Damascus, a light from heaven flashed around him, and he heard a voice that said, "Saul, Saul, why are you persecuting me?" Saul cried out, "Who are you, Lord?" And the voice said, "I am Jesus. Rise and go into the city, and you will be told what to do." So Saul got up and he opened his eyes, but he couldn't see anything. So the men who were with Saul led him into the city. After 3 days, a man named Ananias came to Saul. He put his hands on Saul, and immediately Saul could see again. And with that, Saul became a follower of Jesus. He became the very thing he had tried to hunt. And he immediately began telling people that Jesus is the Son of God, and he taught them about the mercy of God that he had received. And all who heard him were amazed. He then went by a new name, Paul, as he began preaching not just to the Jewish people, but to everyone, despite many difficulties like being imprisoned, shipwrecked, and narrowly escaping death multiple times. Paul continued to preach about Jesus. Paul said that he would do everything he could to save people and help them know God. And that's just what he did in order to reach people who would otherwise be unreached. And many came to know Jesus because of what Paul said. Paul taught many in his day through his letters, but even more have come to learn more about Jesus through the letters of Paul that can be read even to this day.
That was an incredible Bible story. Now it's time to hear from Pastor Steve. Wait, this just in. We have a breaking news story developing. I'm being told that it's time for the news you need with News Guy Steve. Now let's check out this video and hear what Pastor Steve has to say about the purpose of the church.
In a world where the news never stops, one man rises above them all to bring you news like you've never heard before.
Hello, everyone. I'm News Guy Steve, and this is the news you need.
The news you need with News Guy Steve.
This just in, our very own Jackson Porter is stuck in a box. What? Did I read that correctly? Is he really stuck in a box? Jackson! Jackson, are you there?
I'm here, Steve. I'm here.
Jackson, what's going on? What are we looking at?
Well, I'll tell you, Steve, I'm stuck in a box.
I can see that. But the question, Jackson, is why?
You know what? I ordered a bunch of socks from Amazon.
That's a big box of socks.
That it is, Steve. You know what? My feet sweat and I use a lot of socks, Steve.
Will you be out anytime soon, Jackson?
Let me put it to you this way. I ordered a whole chicken breast and it looks like I'm gonna be eating barbecue in a box tonight for dinner.
Someone really should help him. It won't be me. We're gonna go to the field with Jackson Porter as he is learning what it means to share God's message through missions trips. Jackson Porter, take it away. Are you okay?
You know what, Steve? I am okay. Now, I will tell you, I was not able to extricate myself from the box, so what I did is I mailed it to the site.
We just saw you like 5 minutes ago.
That is correct. You did see me 5 minutes ago. 2 words for you, Steve. Amazon now. Amazon now. Anyway, I'm here on the dangerous grounds of Mars. That's right, Mars. And it's amazing we can even breathe out the mouth right now without choking because of the atmosphere up here.
I'm sorry. Did you just say that you were on Mars?
That is correct. We are on Mars.
Jackson, I can clearly see that you are at Saddleback Church.
And we are here today with, Elena, how do you say it?
Elena.
Elena, I like that name. I'll say it like that next time. Elena's going to join us today right here on Mars to tell us about what peace and mission trips are. Scoot back, darling. They're telling us to scoot back a little bit. Just turn. Okay. Now can you first tell us what is a mission trip?
Sure, a mission trip, or like we like to call them, Saddleback peace trips, are basically when we spread the good news of Jesus all around the world.
Okay, anyway, so now you said the word peace in there, which I like that. P-E-A-C-E, peace. But why do we call it peace? Because we just as easily have said banana?
Right. So peace trips or mission trips are basically when we spread the good news on purpose, with a specific purpose of Jesus all around the world. And that's called the Great Commission.
I'm glad I let you finish that line because I like that word. Great Commission, which is in fact a commission that is great.
It is great, and Jesus told us to do it in the Bible.
So now, Elena, tell me, what sort of preparations are made for such a trip like that, a mission trip? If I'm a kid and I want to go on a mission trip, I'm like, pick me, pick me.
So we spend a lot of time preparing through prayer. So we pray for our team, we pray for where we're going to go, and once our team is assembled, then they start to pray for all the preparation that's involved, including praying for all the resources.
You said something about resources. Now, am I to understand that God actually provides the resources for these trips?
He does. God provides all of our resources after we've spent tons of time praying.
That is amazing. 2 words, amazing. I want to thank Elena for joining us all the way out here at Saddleback, Mars. It probably took her 45 minutes to get here? It's a long way from California, that's what I understand. Anyway, thank you, and thank you for being with us.
Yeah, it's been my pleasure, and I'll be praying for you, Jackson.
You know what? I appreciate that. A lot of people tell me that. In fact, my mama says I need a lot of prayer, so I appreciate that. Steve, we're going to throw it back to you. This is Jackson Porter, news reporter, reporting to you live from the Saddleback Mars campus. Thank you, and we're just going to look right in the camera like this.
News you need with News Guy Steve.
Thank you, Jackson. You know, as we learned, the Great Commission is an important part of the church's purpose. And we're going to learn more about that right now from our very own application correspondent, Pastor Steve. Pastor Steve, take it away. Thank you, News Guy Steve. I do not understand you at all. Here are my thoughts. You know, ever since you were a little kid, your mom and dad have been trying to get you to share. They want you to share your things, your toys, whatever, because they don't want you to be stingy and selfish, right? So they want you to share. And when you're with other people who know how to share, you enjoy being with those guys. Well, I have some things I'm going to share with you today, guys. I do. I'm going to share with you some money. Look, I have some money here from Argentina. I have some money here from Berlin. Oh, here's some from America. And here's some more from Hong Kong. And how about if I share this little bit of money with you from the Philippines? Well, if I told you everybody's gonna get some money today, I'm gonna share all this money with you, you'd get kind of excited, right? Well, you know what? I have something even more valuable to share with you, and that is Jesus. And you think, oh, come on, wait a minute. I can't spend Jesus in the store, but I can the money. We see, guys, the money is just temporary, but Jesus is forever. And that's what we learned in our Bible story today with this guy, Paul. I love the story of Paul because, you know, this guy was mean. He was so mean, in fact. He used to hunt down Christ followers and murder them. Yeah, he was a bad dude. But then he met Jesus. And when he met Jesus, his life was transformed forever. And Paul went from a person who really was working against Jesus, working against the church, to a person who was completely devoted to Jesus. He was a follower, a disciple of Jesus. And Paul was so excited about what Jesus had done in his life, he wanted to share that with others. And he spent the rest of his life traveling all over the world, sharing the love of Jesus with everyone he came in contact with because it had meant so much to him. Jesus changed his life, and he wanted to share that good news with everyone else. In fact, the Apostle Paul wrote half of the New Testament, and he's one of the most well-known figures in the Bible today because Jesus changed his life, and he made a decision to share that love with everyone he came in contact with. Now, I could share my money, right? And it would last for just a little while. But by sharing the love of Jesus, that lasts forever. Do you love Jesus? Have you made Jesus the Lord of your life? If you have, then you know what Jesus means to you. I want to encourage you guys this week to find someone in your neighborhood, at school, or at home to share that love of Jesus with. Just talk to them about what Jesus has done for you, about what you're learning at church. And a way that you could share that love is to invite them to come to church with you. Or you could even spend time with them and just, like I said, tell them about the things that you're learning. And then maybe they'll become curious enough that they'll want to come to church to hear more about it too. But that's what we do when we share. We're sharing the love of Jesus with everyone we come in contact with. And when we do share the love of Jesus, it brings a smile to Jesus' face, and it honors and it glorifies him. So this week, guys, share the love of Jesus. Those are my thoughts. Back to you, News Guy Steve.
Thank you, Pastor. Thank you, Pastor Steve. That's a really nice thought. All right, I'm going to go right on up to Mars and meet Jackson. And he said, all I have to do is just put myself in this box and they'll mail me. All right. Well, this is News Guy Steve for the news you need. Yeah, the news never stops, but my breath stinks. Here we go. Send me to Mars. Woo!
We're so glad that you joined us in learning about the purposes of the church. Remember that God created the church to be a place where we can worship, belong, grow, serve, and share. This next week, as you go out, try and find a way that you can help the church live out its purpose. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time.